Hi, everyone. I'm Jeff Brown, Dean of the Gies College of Business. 3 years ago today, we marked a transformational development in the history of our college. That morning, students in our college, they woke up and logged onto their computers, and they opened up an email from the college that just made their jaws drop. October 26, 2017 was the day that we announced the $150 million gift from Larry and Beth Gies and the naming of the Gies College of Business. The excitement of that announcement and what it would mean for current and future students, faculty, and staff is something those of us on this campus that day will remember for the rest of our lives. We gathered in Biff to introduce Larry and Beth, to share the news in person. And there I talked about what it meant to dream big, what it means to put bold plans into action, and what it means to have partners who are willing to invest in that plan because they share our vision and because they believe in dreaming big too. So here we are 3 years later, and we're now seeing how those ambitious plans are becoming reality and making a difference in the delivery of business education. And that's something we're going to talk about today with someone who's been instrumental in making that happen, Larry Gies, a proud 1988 accountancy graduate. Larry, thanks for joining us on Gies Giving Day.
Jeff, thank you so much for having me. I truly appreciate it.
So Larry, could you just start off, tell us a little bit about what you remember from that day?
It was a fantastic day, very memorable, Jeff, as you can imagine, for the students, for the faculty, for the administration, for the university, and for our state, to be able to take the business school to a different level and to allow students the ability to have access to this wonderful education that we have at the University of Illinois. I think that was a really pivotal day. But what I enjoy personally the most is getting notes or phone calls or emails or being stopped on the street by someone whose life has been changed by what you and the team have done for them in their trajectory and what it's meant to their life and what it allowed them to do. It was just a few months ago during the extreme point of COVID in our state, and a couple of the students that had just graduated called me and asked for some help with a project they were doing to help those less fortunate who were being affected by COVID. And of course, I gave them all the help I possibly could. But I think the most incredible point of that moment was knowing that these two students were able to get this wonderful quality education from the University of Illinois. And we were a big part of making that work.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I remember the day when you gave your remarks that morning. You were telling the audience how you had had an intern at your company who had gotten into Gies, or then the College of Business, as it was called at the time, but he wasn't able to come here because, frankly, he just couldn't afford it. And one of the things that really motivated you was wanting to do something about that, to eliminate those kinds of barriers for students, whether we're talking about financial barriers or geography or gender or race. Can you tell us a little bit about that and why it's so important to you and Beth?
Yeah, I think education as a whole is, I think, the most important thing we can do in society to level the playing field, to give people that chance, that opportunity to be able to do whatever their passion, whatever their dreams are. And I think that opportunity that we're able to give a student at the University of Illinois is truly transformative. And to be able to change the trajectory of a student's life is critical because not only has it changed their world, but it changes the trajectory of their family. And I see that and hear about that happening over and over with what you and the team have done at the college. But I think what's been so pivotal, I think, to the university is not only having the money for that access, but what you have done to be able to reach that outreach program that you've had to bring students to the university that would not otherwise have the opportunity. And to me, that's everything.
Yeah, well, in fact, let's talk about that. And I have to say, first of all, on your comments about education, as an educator myself, as the son of a couple of teachers, I couldn't agree more with that remark. And there's, I get the opportunity often to hear from students for whom scholarships have really changed their life and really put them on a whole different trajectory. And I know that's really important, but that's just one of the ways that we have really democratized education. And you and I have talked about this a lot, about how we have used technology to reduce barriers, and as you just said, to enable students from really all over the world and all different backgrounds to be able to access a really high quality education, regardless of where they live in the world, regardless of their economic background. And that's always been something that has been really central to what we do here. And I remember talking to you even when we were talking about the possibility of a gift. I know that that was something that really resonated with you.
Yeah, it really did, Jeff. I think, we're truly pioneers on online education, and we are so far ahead of the curve that when COVID hit, we were ready and prepared to make sure our students got the very best education. We weren't just putting students online to be able to educate them. We had a product that could take them to a different level, and that online education was not something that was substandard or suboptimal. It was something that we could, with great confidence, give them the education they would need. And I think that's another thing about the university and the college that's so special is that, when COVID hit, and I remember you and I speaking about this in March, we both said, we're not going to be spectators in this. That's not what we're going to do. We're going to make sure that we give not only our students the greatest education we possibly can, but we're going to be part of the solutions. And I remember talking in March about the ventilators and, programs to help students and, now the quick rapid testing that's being done at the University of Illinois, and how Gies Business has been such a big part of bringing all this to the forefront and coming up with solutions to make sure that, not only are students learning, they're getting experiences of helping others and being able to make a big difference in the world. And to me, that's what Gies is all about, and what you and the team have done to be able to allow the students not only that experience, but also the exposure to some of the things that are on the front lines of the COVID, situation today. It's been really phenomenal.
Yeah, I have to say, as part of this university community, I've never been more proud of this place than I've been during this COVID pandemic. I mean, the things that you mentioned with the interdisciplinary work that has gone on with the testing and so forth, as well as just seeing what our students are doing, what our alumni are doing, the way they're out there, starting organizations to feed the frontline workers. One of our alums was leading the task force in Chicago about how to respond. I mean, it really has been amazing. And to your point, the fact that we were so far ahead of the curve on doing online education really allowed us to respond with our on-campus learning much more quickly and more effectively, more importantly, and with high quality than most other institutions were able to do. So it's really been a lot of fun, and your support and that of others has really been pivotal in helping us to do that. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you for what you and the team have done, Jeff. I mean, again, we pivoted, we adapted through the innovation we had, we led, and we're still continuing to lead. And that is what not only is great for the students to be able to learn in that environment, but to be able to see someone who's leading and innovating. And that's what we've been doing. And my whole philosophy in life is be passionate about what we do. And you and the team are so passionate about what you do. And I think that energy really resonates with students and gets them to step up and do wonderful things. And I got a phone call also from a different student who had said, "Hey, I've got this idea. What should I do?" And I quickly and she's an alum, just a recent alum, and I quickly got her in touch with 3 other people in Chicago, and she started doing her thing. And it's just such a great feeling to know that these folks are getting that opportunity and they're seeing great modeling of innovation and taking charge of a situation. And again, not being a spectator in that situation.
Oh, absolutely, and I love that viewpoint of we're not going to be a spectator in this, and that's certainly the attitude that we've taken. I know you have taken. I know Madison Industries has taken. It's been really incredible to watch. We know you and Beth, as well as many other generous alumni, whether they're alums or whether they're friends of the college, is really what makes it possible for us to continue to be innovators in business education and to really help train the next generation of innovators. And this being the anniversary of the announcement of your gift, it also gives us a chance to recognize everyone who has contributed to this, and also to really encourage our alumni and our students to really pay it forward, to pay that generosity forward. And that's really why we decided to name this Gies Giving Day, is to use it as an opportunity to encourage that. And this year, the donations that come in on Gies Giving Day are going to go to our emergency scholarship fund for students here in Gies. And this is a fund that really makes money available for current students when they run into unexpected financial difficulties or family crises. And that is something that, unfortunately, we've seen a lot of this year with the pandemic and the recession and the economic displacement and job loss. But this is so important to us to really enable deserving students to be able to stick around and continue with their education in spite of the difficulties that they may have run into. So I know that's something that's important to you as well.
Absolutely. You know, just a few dollars can make all the difference in the world to a student. And what we don't want is for that trajectory that they're on to be halted in any way. And if a few dollars will allow that student to be able to continue their education at such a, fabulous university, that's really a critical thing that, the alumni can be a part of. And I highly encourage them to do so, because you and I both know that story of that student that we met that said, her life was changed by the fact that she was able to stay in school because of that emergency funding. And that made all the difference in the world to her. And that makes it all worth it in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you, Larry. And please give our thanks to Beth as well for all that the two of you have done to help our college really dream big. And not just dream big, but to turn those dreams into reality. I also want to thank everyone for joining us today in celebrating Gies Giving Day. And as business leaders, we hope that you will celebrate with us on Gies Giving Day by offering your support for our current students and our future leaders of tomorrow. As Larry just said, every gift is important and creates an opportunity for our students. And you can go to giesbusiness.illinois.edu/Gies Giving Day to join us and to really help make a difference in the lives of our students and help our students also dream big. So thank you, Larry, for joining us today, and thanks to all of you for being here.
Jeff, I appreciate it.